Hi, my name is Jack Kai.
Hi, my name's Kieran Behan.
Hi, I'm Kevin Lee from Cubing Coded, and you're listening to the Parity Podcast.
Parity Podcast.
Parity Podcast.
The Parity Podcast.
You're listening to the Parity Podcast, brought to you by your hosts, Mitch Creighton and Jan McGinley. This episode of the Parity Podcast is brought to you by none other than dailypuzzles.com.au. If you want high-quality puzzles with high-quality and reliable shipping, then check them out. All you got to do is go www.dailypuzzles.com.au. And if you use our code PARITY, you'll get 10% off your entire order. Hey everyone, and welcome back to this month's episode of the Parity Podcast. It is a new year, yet the same podcast still, thankfully. We hope you guys all had a wonderful new year. I know we both certainly did. It was pretty fun. Sure, I'm glad to get 2020 behind us. This episode today is honestly a bit of a shorter one to start off the new year. There's not really that much to talk about. So we're going to start off by talking about the new cubes of the month. Then we'll go on to a new segment which we got this month, which is super, super exciting. And we'll be joined by Zain and Mo from the Cubing Critics. And they're basically going to give us an insight into what we should expect in the next couple of months from the major cube manufacturers. They don't have too much information, but this month they've particularly got a lot about Gans Cubes upcoming. So that's super, super exciting to listen to. And then, of course, as you saw in the title, we will be talking to Brandon Kennedy, aka Cube Hero. Awesome. Yeah, guys, Happy New Year. Obviously, 2020 was the start of the Parity Podcast. I'm excited to go into 2021. I'm surprised, honestly, we've lasted this long and we are remaining regularly monthly episodes. Yeah, Mitch, it's really good to do this with you and looking forward to the new year. Absolutely. Thank you so much as always. Okay, let's just start off and get straight into the new cubes of the month. Okay, done. Next segment. Yeah, there's like literally, there's literally no new cubes this month. It's so funny. It's kind of strange because I would have thought that a few cubing companies would have, big releases right before Christmas and stuff like that, but no, absolutely nothing. So that's cool. But I guess we could talk. Sorry, I would just read that. But I guess that could segue into not the cubes that we've got now, but the cubes that will come soon. And so we're going to head right over now to a new segment which we're joined by Mo and Zain from the Cubing Critics. And then they're going to give us an insight into what to expect in the next couple of months in cubing. They work a lot with the major cubing brands such as Gan, Moyu. I think those are the two main ones. And there's
they
a
also
couple of
work
others,
with the
like cube
Cubicle
shops.
as well.
Yeah, cube shops, all that sort of stuff. And so this episode, they're going to talk to us mainly about what we can expect with Gan Cubes in the next couple of months. And this is a really exciting chat. Yeah, it's very exciting. I hope you guys enjoy it. Obviously, we're really happy to have them along. Obviously, go check them out. We'll leave a link. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy that. Hey guys, it's us again. And as we said earlier in the episode, we have got a new segment to kick off the year with us. This is such a cool thing. So joining us here today is Zain and Mo. They're going to give us a rundown of what we've got to expect within the next couple of months with cubing. They've worked with many, many cubing companies, and they've worked particularly closely with Gan and Moyu, I believe. And so they're just going to give us the lowdown on what we can expect in the next couple of months from those cube manufacturers. So welcome to the show, Zain and Mo.
Thank you for having us.
No problem. So what have you got to tell us?
So first of all, thanks for having us, and I'll let Mo kick off the first set of news. Mo?
Okay, so we'll start with what appears to be booming in the market in the moment, and that's the Gans Cube. We've actually got it over here, and
Yes.
I ain't no Skewb professional because this is my first Cube that I've ever gotten, but it's actually pretty good, and we might as well give you a little teaser of it. That's sound.
Wow.
Yeah, we've both had a try of the Skewb, and I think Mo seems slightly better than myself, but I can give you my thoughts as well as Mo can give his thoughts as well real quick.
I think for us it was easy to pick up because it was nice and smooth. The how do I say
Very buttery smooth,
Yeah.
very typical GAN feel near enough. And one thing we haven't nitpick about so far is the center cap, the caps. You know how you take the caps off and change the tensions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're quite difficult to do at the moment, so we're kind of struggling with that. And
Right.
you know how Ghana like with their center caps.
Yes.
So what are you guys planning on buying this cube or?
For me personally, not because Skewb is not one of my main events. But
Yeah.
in general, Skewbs are very hard to take off the center caps, in my opinion. I think
Uh,
that's just normal, but definitely, I think that's good to hear that Gan maintained the buttery feeling.
Yeah, it's like full primary internals as well, like the 11M Pro, and like the
Wow,
same
that's really
tensioning
interesting.
system. We've got corner
Yeah.
magnets as well. They've got two versions. We got given the enhanced version, which has the special core magnet stability system,
Yeah,
and there's
right.
also a standard version as well. So yeah, all good.
That's really cool. That's awesome. What do you have next?
Yeah, so I'll kick off the next piece of news. So you've already heard the GAN timer, haven't you?
Yes, I've
Um,
seen
the
a few
new,
leaks here and there
yeah.
about it.
So
Yes.
that's planning on being released in China on the 31st. So by the time this goes up, it'll already be released in China. So that's quite exciting to hear. We'll have
Yeah.
it in a few weeks probably. So we'll give our full thoughts in next month's segment, and pretty much I'll go over the basic functionality here. So it's got it's a Bluetooth wireless timer. It has
Really.
it can be used as a regular stack mat, and it can be used with the Cube Station app with your smart cube, and then you can record times, record your PBs, your averages, things like that. It's all really cool, and that's all done through the Cube Station app. And it's also got a really mystery port on it as well. I don't know if you've noticed in the pictures. It's got like a mystery
Wow.
2.5 millimeter port on it. So that's quite
Yeah,
interesting.
that's
That's
really
cool.
interesting that it's Bluetooth. You don't get many. There's not a single time in this Bluetooth right now.
Yeah, this is the very first one.
That's
So that's
awesome.
very exciting. So yeah, by the time we'll have the timer by next month. So we'll likely deal you in with the info on that if it's not
Wow,
already available.
that's awesome. That's really cool.
And then, as you already know, that'll be paired up with the GAN iCarry. Have you heard of that before?
I have not.
Yes.
I've
It's
heard a little bit about it here and there and stuff, but tell us more.
But yeah, that news was released quite a bit ago. They leaked an image of the box, and it looked pretty cool. I think it was like a black box design or something like that.
Yep.
But the Gans Cube, I think it's meant to be it's a smart cube, but you can't switch out the battery, so it's meant to last around like a year, and you can't recharge it either. So it's not like other smart cubes, probably a budget smart cube, and assumably because of the name carry, it's probably going to be meant for like moving around with it wherever you go.
Yeah, as in like you don't want to carry around big charges and things like that. So it's probably designed for that specific.
So portability sort of thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow,
That's
that's really cool. That's interesting as well.
It's interesting because we haven't actually heard news about that since that
Yeah,
box
I
leak.
think, yeah.
So I think they're waiting for next year for that to be released. Probably like Q2, late Q2 maybe.
I'd argue Q1 on that more. But yeah, it was planned to be released in December, but for some reason, probably because of the UV GAN 11M Pro delays, they were probably focusing on that. So it's going to be released next year, early next year. I'd assume January. So that's very exciting.
That's Yeah, very that's exciting. very exciting.
Yeah, hopefully the price justifies the sacrifice in functionality.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, what are your guys' thoughts on this GAN carry? Are you guys planning on getting it when it releases, or?
I'll probably see the price of it and stuff. I don't actually have a smart cube yet, so
Yeah,
if this is reasonably affordable, then I probably will end up picking it up and stuff. We've seen obviously a lot of smart cubes coming to the market recently, and they are becoming quite a thing. So to have something, even if it's just a budget one, like this is
yeah,
what we're sort of talking about, that'd be really cool to have. And
yeah,
just
and I
be able
think
to have those features that you get from a smart cube that you don't with a regular one.
yeah, and I think it's designed to be some form of competition to the Rubik's Connected because I think that's
Yes.
um
Yes. Yeah, well, the Rubik's is definitely a lot better priced than the Gans at the moment. We'll see what Gan does though.
yeah. Okay, I'll send it over to Mo again for the next.
Okay, so
This is a big one, by the way. So
yeah,
you might
be
want to take a
prepared.
seat.
So Gan 11 and Pro, we're all assuming they're gonna continue that line, and that's
Yep.
actually been
Confirmed.
confirmed. They are gonna continue that line. Likely, it's gonna be in late Q1.
There's going to be another
Gan
Gan
11. We can't
Really?
get too much info because that'll
Yeah.
like literally give it away. But all we can say is it's a new Gan 11
It's going to be part of the Gan 11 series. We'll give you that.
and it's gonna
Wow.
be good.
Yeah. So that's
Will it
very
be more
interesting.
expensive than the other ones?
Ooh.
Ooh.
So it's not going to be more expensive. I'll give you that.
Will
Okay.
it be
I'm gonna make a
s-
guess. I reckon it'll be like the Gan 11 Lite or something. So like maybe like a
Possibly.
budget version.
The name isn't confirmed yet, but you're on the right lines with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's just really interesting to see what Gan do because they've been innovating a lot recently for cubing.
yeah, I'd argue that they're less innovative towards the start of the year. I'd be perfectly honest. Their Q1 and Q2 releases are typically just stripped down versions of their flagship cubes. But
Hmm.
when they get into Q3 and Q4, they're like on a roll.
Yeah, this last 6 months for GAN, or really in cubing in general, has just been so much more progression than what we've seen in quite
Indeed.
a long time. It's really been amazing, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, very exciting. We'll confirm all that news next month, hopefully. So hopefully your viewers will stick around until then to listen to that.
Yeah,
And
Fingers crossed.
so yeah, so have you heard of the Gan Gurus?
Yes,
Yeah, so
I
they're
have.
like Gan's elite speed cubing team.
Yes.
So it
Yeah.
consists of Felix, Leo, Max. They're
Max.
probably the main ones. But there's been a new addition to the Gan Gurus. I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's Rihang Shu. Yeah. And I've given you the WCA profile in the notes, and he's only 12, and he's getting really impressive results. He's like, I'm
Wow.
pretty sure he's sub 7 or sub 6 in 3x3, and he's like second in China or something like that. And yeah, he's been cubing since like a very early age, and he's definitely earned his position in the Gang Gurus. So very impressive for him.
I think I've seen a few things about that recently. That's really cool.
Yeah, is we hope to be some point joining the Gan Gurus, maybe some point in the future, but we're definitely not at that stage yet. What about you guys? You planning on getting like a speed cubing sponsorship, like a speed sponsorship, perhaps?
No, that's never gonna happen. As
Oh,
much
Mitch,
as I
you've got a
practice
much
and
better chance
try,
than me. Let's just say
as
that.
much as I practice and try, I think any speed cubing company will probably run away from me than towards me.
Ah, you shouldn't say that.
Yeah, we'll see in the future, eh? But nah, definitely not me. But Mitch, I mean, if you do keep improving your times, we'll see how we go, hey?
Maybe.
So yeah, I'll pass over to Mo for our next piece of news.
Okay, so we've got limited info on this, but it's gonna be a Gan Square 1. So clearly they're
Really?
kind of like, yeah, they
Yeah.
are. Clearly they're kind of like heading away from the main market, but still focusing on that at the same time. So they're trying to appeal to the majority of other events.
Wow.
Yeah, they're clearly
And
like
Big
starting to
news.
dominate the side events at this point.
Gan is really now trying to dominate the market now, aren't they?
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
They're not relying on their 3x3s. They're pretty much pushing throughout the WCA market.
Like with their
Hopefully-
permits.
Hopefully
That
they
was-
don't stop innovating their 3x3s. Hopefully they put their effort still in their 3x3s as well.
I agree. Yeah. But yeah, like for example, their Pyramix was a good way of trialing their corner magnet system, and then they brought that into the 11 and Pro afterwards. So
Yeah.
hopefully they'll grab maybe some innovative qualities from their side events and bring that into 3x3. Who knows?
Exactly.
But we'll have to see on that. And yeah, so yeah, the GAN flagship line, also on the topic of that, is that it's confirmed to be GAN 12, GAN 13. They're gonna stick with this numbered system.
It's a bit like
So,
iPhone.
Yeah, they get that a lot.
Well,
Um,
that's very convenient because I actually filmed my You know that time capsule video that we were talking
Yeah.
about? Yeah, I
Yep.
actually filmed that today, and I predicted that the cube would be the GAN 12. So that's very convenient.
That's confirmed at this point.
That
Whether they
happens.
add a
Yes.
Pro or a Max or a
Yes.
Mini or whatever, that's still to be confirmed. But yeah, it's their 11th flagship and it's a Pro flagship model, so 11 Pro makes sense.
So are they intentionally going with the Apple lines and stuff like so with their naming system?
How-
Are they intentionally going for Apple, or does it just happen to be like that?
I think personally it just happened to be like that because the Gan 11M Pro is actually their 11th flagship, and so it makes sense to do the 12th, the 11th, the 12th, 13th. I mean, we really can't count at this moment.
But
Right. I
but
didn't
why
actually.
would
Hold
they
on, so-
name the Gan X not the
I,
Gan
I
10?
think, yeah, I'd somewhat disagree with Mo and say that they have taken inspiration from Apple. I can't say that for certain. You're gonna have to ask Gan for that. But things like the Air, the X, the XS,
Because
that
obviously you have
seems
the
to me like
iPad
a
Air and then the iPad
yeah.
Pro.
Maybe they like this sort of minimalist style. And another funny thing is that if you go on their GAN website, we found this quite funny where we copy and pasted the font off the website and it actually comes up as an Apple font.
Really?
Oh wow.
Yeah, so we found that kind of amusing. But yeah, when we talk to them about their Apple GAN link, they kind of find that amusing a bit. But yeah, they've definitely taken inspiration for that minimalist style from Apple.
Yeah, it's a very
and-
effective method because Apple's obviously killing it as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know if that's intentional or not. That's up to GAN to decide. But yeah, so
Still interesting.
yeah, very interesting. That's probably going to come out in a month or a couple of months, I'd say. They haven't talked much about it yet, but that should be soon. They teased it quite a few months back. If you don't already know, they teased it a bit. But yeah, they told us about it, and we'll find out more information on that. Yeah. So are you a fan of the Monster Go series by any chance?
I haven't personally tried any of the Monster Go cubes. However, I have heard a lot of good things about them.
I haven't
Um,
got myself a Monster Go cube, but I really was a fan of the idea and the series because it was a great price point and it was a very good market to like younger audience, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. It's supposed to be their training series of puzzles. So it's like not fully speakable, but just to learn the
So really
event.
they're going similar to like a Rubik's route, except they actually make good speed cubes.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like yeah, they're training puzzles. I think that might probably replace. You know how they had the GAN RS,
Yes.
which was like
Yes,
their non-magnetic
again.
3x3.
Mm.
They'll likely replace that sort of budget line with this Monster Go series.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so they've got a Monster Go Pyraminx, and that is pretty much the GAN Pyraminx without magnets. Just to give you a bit of a heads up on that.
Wow,
So it's
that's crazy.
non-magnetic, and so yeah, we can't really say much from that. But when we were talking to Phil, he kind of clarified that it's pretty much a GAN Pyraminx without magnets.
Wow.
So that's interesting.
That's very
And then
cool.
based on their rate, they're likely going to make a Monster Go Skewb and Square One after their Gans Cube and Square One, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So will
they're
that just
likely
be a non-magnetized version
pretty
as well?
much. I'd likely expect that to be the case. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Cool.
And then yeah, I think that's pretty much what we got. But what are your guys' thoughts on what we've said so far?
This is incredible. All this stuff to take in. I hope you guys
Yeah.
listening have really enjoyed this because, man, this is incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
and
guys,
just
we weren't actually told of this before this actually interview with these guys. I mean, Zain and Mo, you guys are the people to talk to about this stuff.
all right. So if we're allowed to like shamelessly plug in this segment,
Oh no, go
is
ahead.
that
Yeah, of
yeah.
course.
So me and Mo run a channel called the Cuban Critics, and we currently talk about all this news as well as reviews, unboxings of all the early GAN releases. So feel free to check that out. Yep, that's the Cuban Critics on
Awesome.
YouTube.
We'll leave
That's
links
awesome.
for
Yeah.
their socials in the description of this podcast. You guys can check them out.
So yeah, just a quick teaser for next month, if you guys don't mind. So we've got a bit more news coming. I think Mo can give a quick teaser on that.
So yeah, we'll probably have more GAN Square One details, so that'll be interesting. we'll have more news on the new cube in the Gan 11 line. Probably an insight into what the name's going to be like
Yep.
and the price.
We'll also have the Gan Time and Gan I Carry by then, hopefully. And Gan are also having a big end of year meeting soon. So we'll hopefully get a bit of inside news on what they're planning for 2021 overall. So that's very exciting. So
Wow, that's
hopefully,
awesome.
yeah.
That's really cool.
Awesome. Well, thank
Well-
you so much. That's awesome. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that.
No, thank you guys for having us on this podcast.
No problem.
Is there anything else you guys want to say?
I guess nothing much other than more GAN news on the way. Hopefully more you in the future, but GAN pretty much are dominating right now. So we've got a lot of good news. So we'll reveal that over the next several months on this podcast, hopefully.
Awesome.
That's very exciting. That's
Well,
so
thank
good.
you guys so much. This information has absolutely been mind-blowing. It certainly has been to me, as I'm sure it has been to you listeners. We certainly cannot wait to have you guys back in the next month's episode. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much, Zain and Mo, for coming on. We really, really appreciate that. Some of the new information that we've got is really, really exciting, and what we got to look forward to is insane. As always, make sure that you guys go subscribe to them on YouTube. We'll leave a link in the show notes, and also tell us what you guys thought of this segment, whether you liked it or not, because we'd love to hear. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back on the other side with an interview with Brandon Kennedy, aka Cube Self Hero.
Hey guys, Mitch actually hasn't told me to say this, but you guys got to check out his giveaway video. Obviously, he's giving away an 11 Pro M. That's like pretty much the best cube you can get. So you guys, check out his video. I really recommend it. We'll leave a link so you can enter. Okay, this episode of the Parity Podcast is brought to you by Harry Daniels, Cubing Madness YouTube, Blake Coburn, and Jason Rosen-Tretter. If you guys want your $1 Patreon shoutout, go check out our Patreon. We'll leave a link in the notes.
Subscribe to Keeping Madness.
Okay, guys, we're back, and now we have Cube Self Hero. We're going to do an interview with him, and then we'll do a Q&A, and then that will be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and hope you enjoy this interview. So, welcome, Cube Self Hero.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Can't complain too much. You know, I'm going to turn my video off because I don't like looking at myself. So,
Don't worry.
Yeah, fair enough.
there you go. I know the official face reveal, right?
That's so funny. When did you start cubing?
So I started cubing a long time ago. So probably around middle school. And it was like my friends and I, you know, we're all just total nerds. We loved memorizing pi. So we would see who can memorize the longest amount of digits, you know, 3.14159, all those things like that. And and so after a while we got bored and we're like, what else can we do? So we got into cubing. This is like old school, you know, Rubik's Cube stuff because
Yeah.
I'm a little bit on the older side. And, you know, after a while I, you know, kind of lost interest, but it was always something I did just more casually. I never knew speed solving methods. It was just, I could solve the basic method and that was about it. And yeah, I kind of repicked it back up about 3 or 4 years. I want to say it was about 4 years ago at this point. I think that's when I started my channel.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was kind of reminding myself how to solve it. So I was like looking up tutorials and I was just finding myself really bored, you know, like finding things that just kind of captured my attention. And I mean, not that I was an editing pro, but, you know, I figured, you know, why not start a channel and kind of document my journey? And I don't know, one thing led to another, and now I'm on a podcast. So.
Yeah, so you're one of the most original cubers. Like you've been cubing for actually a long time.
Yeah, so it's just everyone thinks I'm a noob. So like I remember one of my earlier videos I was doing the Chi Warrior. I just I bought one on Amazon, and you know, this is before I didn't know SpeedCube Shop or the Cubicle even existed. So I was just going on Amazon looking for cubes, and the Chi Warrior was on there, and picked it up, unboxed it, and I called it the Kiwi. And everyone just roasted me. They're like, well, who's this noob, you know, calling it the Kiwi?
Yeah.
I'm like, bro,
That's
well,
so funny.
you know, I think, but anyways, so.
Awesome. So you kind of just answered it in that question, but what actually made you start a YouTube channel, and how did you sort of start it and grow it to what it is today?
I I would say I got very lucky. So, when I first started it, I did not take this thing seriously. I really was trying to become more of a teaching channel, kind of relearning these methods and really learning more methods, and then just kind of doing what JPerm does, I guess, kind of trying to teach people how to solve things. And my tutorials absolutely sucked. Like, they're terrible. And I keep them on there just because it's funny to see people comment on them. And they're like, this is awful. And so, but I remember my first one was like a 4x4 parity tutorial. And I remember getting my first 10 views, and I was like mind blown that like 10 people actually found my video.
10 views and now you get thousands.
Well, I remember sitting in bed, my wife and I were like, I was like, you got to see this video that I made, and put it on there. I'm like, holy crap, there's 10 views. Like 10 people have seen this thing. And I remember getting my, no subscribers. Hustled like 10 of my friends to follow me just to make me feel like, a little bit more relevant. But yeah, so I think after the first 100 videos, I think my first 100, I had about 200 followers.
Oh, yeah.
And
wow.
So it was really just, for me, doing this was all about fun. I did not care about being popular or being sponsored or having things like I have a good career. This is just a total hobby. And after the first year, I think from like 100 videos and having 200 subscribers, I started watching more, vlog type content, and I don't know, I did a vlog for a little while, which is still out there somewhere.
I think I remember you used to do those Cube vlogs, and Felix was in one of them, wasn't he?
Well, yeah. So that was the cubing vlog, but before that, I actually started my own vlog channel.
Oh, really?
Like I was like daily vlogging, and it was just terrible. Like the vlogs were actually pretty good, but like doing the vlogs and then like keeping up with the cubing content just was killing me. And so I decided to stick with what was working. And yeah, so I don't know. I like being entertained. So when I'm making content, I want to do things that I find like that make me excited. So that's really like, so when I watch unboxings, how it is. You see people unbox things, and they, might just show you what it is and spend so much time opening a box and opening the package. And it's like, come on, like show us the product,
Yeah.
And so when I do things, I want it to be more of like a presentation. So
yeah, that's a really great way to put it, is a presentation rather than just opening up a box.
Yeah.
So after all these, after all the uploads and stuff, didn't you get sponsored by Skewb Shop quite early in their channel growth?
Yeah, I was probably around, I think 800 subscribers, maybe less, when Skewb Shop put me on like a provisional sponsorship.
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
basically like, hey, we'll give you like a deep discount kind of a thing. And I remember like not even 1 week later, I'd grown like 200 subscribers like that week. And I got an email that was like, we're going to convert you to a full sponsorship, and just lock it down right away. And so, yeah.
Yeah,
Now
that's
Awesome.
Now I've got an ungodly amount of cubes behind me. So
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So when and why did you start doing transitions, and what sort of made you earn your title, the King of Transitions? When did that come about?
I honestly don't know. I remember the first video that did well was like my budget comparison video, where I compared like the only 3 cubes I had, which was like the MF3RS, the Chi Warrior, and something else. And like that video like was the first video that hit 50,000 subs, and I was seeing pretty good growth from that alone. And I think that was the first video, or one of the first videos, where I'd really placed emphasis on like better transitions. Like I said, I watch a lot of vlogs. I love like exciting vlogs. Like I guess I'll shamefully say it. I watched, like I said in the past, I watched a lot of like Logan Paul and things like that, where his editor really did a really good job of like making his content really dynamic and exciting.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Hayden Hiller-Smith or whatever his name is.
Yeah,
I think
so-
he won an award for editing.
Oh, really?
Streamy. Yeah, the Streamies award.
Nice. But yeah, so that was really my inspiration to really focus on the transitions. So ever since then, I like finding music that excites me, and then that music inspires me to think about new things. And I would argue to say I've been lacking in the creativity department as of lately, but
Yeah,
I,
I mean, your TikTok did really well. 1.5 million views.
that one was random. So I don't understand TikTok at all, and I probably should go on there and make more content. But
I think that would really work. I think you should.
well, I put out like 5 videos, and it was like a couple thousand views, and then I put out that video, and it got like a couple thousand views, and then I woke up the next day to like my phone was like blown up with notifications, and before I knew it, every time I was refreshing it, I would have another 1,000 views. And so like it seemed like every second it was like 1,000, and I went
Crazy.
from a couple thousand to, I mean, I would say I went from that to about 1.4 million within about a day, which was super bizarre.
That's
And-
so good.
and
Did
then I
you get
real-
any growth at all for your channel or Instagram from that? At all?
I don't think so. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, TikTok doesn't really translate over to other platforms very well.
yeah,
Unless
I would
you
say that
go-
I see consistent growth on all the platforms regardless. So I mean, whether TikTok had anything to do with it, it was just more of a funny thing to try out. And I didn't even realize people could duet you. So like I remember clicking on my sound, and I'm like, oh, I got like 100 videos of people who duetted me. I better check this out. I'm old.
Funny.
So what do you actually like doing in your spare time?
Yeah, I mean, I have quite a few things I do. So like my wife and I are both real estate investors.
Oh, yeah.
So real estate is a big thing in our lives. Like we have rentals, things like that. So we, focus on that, the growth of those businesses. I'm also a business owner. So I love, creating things like side hustles. But I also have a full-time career, which, got to have benefits, right? The things that old people have to worry about. I'm 35 years old. My birthday's next week. So yeah, I'm not
Happy birthday.
quite old, but yeah. But as far as that, I have 3 kids. So the family and I, we'll do things around here. We like to go on trips. I love traveling. Like Vegas is probably one of my favorite places to travel to. And,
Yeah, a lot of people love that. What is it? It must be obviously quite fun in America. What do you go to Vegas for?
So I just like the entertainment factor of it. Like my wife and I love watching shows. We
Oh,
love
yeah.
restaurants. So, I mean, we go there probably 3 or 4 times a year.
Wow.
And I go there every year for the Super Bowl. So I watch the games, and, I just like being around sports. I also have a sports podcast. So it's something else that I do with my friends.
Oh yeah.
That's
Do you want to
awesome.
plug that, or do you want to keep it? private?
It's not appropriate for my base. So
That's no worries, no worries.
it's basically a show that is a complete opposite of what I do on this channel. So I try to keep those 2 lives as separate as possible.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's funny.
And with the Super Bowl and stuff, what is it actually like being there? Because obviously the crowd is massive. It's probably one of the biggest events. Did you actually go this year, or is it this year because of COVID?
So I'm going to be going to Vegas this year to watch the game. So I just go there to watch it, like in the sports books. But I've
okay.
never actually been to a bowl.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But for me, like I'm a pretty big sports fanatic. Like I love the Seahawks football.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Blazer basketball fan. So
I think you'd get along well with Mitch because he likes what NFL team do you like?
The Patriots.
Oh,
I'm not biased though because my dad's liked them for like 30 years or something. So it was from him, not
yeah. No,
many championships.
My
That's so funny.
my co-host for the other podcast I do, he's also a huge Patriots fan. So whenever we watch football together, I mean, I love ribbing him.
That's funny. Yeah, Mitch, do you want to do the next question then?
Oh yeah, of course. So, what are your favorite events to practice?
I mean, gosh, as of lately, practicing seems like it's been harder and harder to do. Like, I work for a hospital, so with COVID stuff, I've been pretty inundated with work, and
Yeah.
so I'm the assistant chief of a service there. But
Wow.
but as far as practicing, like 3x3, 4x4, I would say 5x5 is my favorite event right now.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
I've been trying to break my sub 3, which like it seems like should be easy to do for me, but I just cannot break 3 minutes on the 5x5.
Mm.
But yeah, so like my goal is to hit sub 3, soon, and yeah, I'd probably practice 5x5 more than anything else.
Yeah.
I
So you
just got the
probably just enjoy it more.
Yeah, I got the Gans Cube, and I've been
Oh,
kind of
wow.
repicking that up, and I'll have my video up Monday for that. And yeah,
Awesome.
That's
We'll check that out. So,
Yeah.
what is something people don't know about you? Oh, wait. Didn't I? No. No.
No, we haven't asked.
Yeah, I haven't said that. What is something that people don't know about you?
I mean, I would argue to say people probably don't know about the business and real estate side of me, but that's
That's really interesting, actually.
that's boring adult
Yeah.
stuff, right? Let's see. If I had to pick a thing, I'm also a musician, so
Oh,
one of
really?
my passions is guitar. I've been in a number of kind of like local bands, and so I've been playing guitar for just about 20 years. So
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, Mitch and I are quite involved with music as well.
yeah, I love good music is something that is pretty dear to me. So I like that's probably why I pick a lot of like dynamic music. Granted, it's a lot more transitional, but I mean,
Yeah.
music has a weird ability to just touch my soul. So when I hear something that like really moves me, like it's a pretty special moment. So yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
wow. So why do you like making Force Cube so much, and what's the sort of satisfaction that you get from it? Because I know if I tried to sit down, I reckon I'd last about 10 minutes before I'd just get bored and lose it. So what keeps you in there? Because I find it entertaining to watch people, so I thank you for making them. Why do you make them, and why do you put yourself through that?
Yeah, so I have pretty insane so I'm already pretty ADHD as is. But I've got like just total OCD as well. Like I'm just a mental mess when it comes to this kind of stuff. So rebuilding the 17x17 and doing the Force cubes, honestly, it's just so mentally satisfying. So like I actually really enjoy it. So
Yeah,
like
right.
what looks like a grueling task, just sitting there I remember that 17x17 assembly took me almost 10 hours, and
Wow.
I killed an entire weekend doing it. And yeah, it was like just a really fun moment just to sit there and just completely zone out and just do something that requires all that mental energy.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, so with the Force cubes, it just started off with 3x3s, and then like I love assembling puzzles because again it works really well for me as far as like keeping me kind of calmed down. But from the 3x3 and the 4x4, I was like, well, I got to keep going from this point. I don't know if I'll ever do anything bigger than a 7x7, but I might.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, once you get past 7x7, it's very expensive.
I'm not really worried about that because I mean, Speaking Shop's done a pretty good job of supporting me. So if I
Yeah, but getting
wanna-
6 like 10x10s, that's like $1,000 for a video, isn't it?
yeah, that's a bit of excessive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty mindful. Like I don't like even though I'm sponsored, like I don't take that for granted. Like I definitely try to make content that's going to be mutually beneficial. So
yeah,
when
exactly. That's what you got to do.
So when I make a video, like if I request something that is a high dollar item, I want to make sure that I'm at least getting multiple pieces of content out of it. So that's multiple opportunities to direct traffic to their site.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. That's very important. So, lastly, this is the last question for me. What equipment do you use to film your videos?
This is going to be something that, So believe it or not, I still to this day use my iPhone to film.
Really? Because
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought you did for a while, but recently I thought you upgraded.
So I bought a camera and I hate it. Like
Really?
my phone is so much easier to use. So I actually don't use the camera.
Yeah.
Um,
So you
for the
just edit
longest,
on the phone?
oh no, I edit on my, so
Oh,
I use,
okay. I understand.
so I film on the phone, and for the longest time I was just recording my audio separately on my phone. So I would use a pop filter, and I would hold my phone and I would create like a video file of me, as well. So I had two phones going, and now I have a microphone, so I have better quality
Yeah, that's so
audio.
good.
Yeah.
And then I use iMovie still. So I don't use anything other than like the free stuff you get.
Really? Wow.
Yep.
I mean, iMovie on a Mac isn't that bad, actually. I don't think.
But I do use like post editing. So for instance, like I don't use their overlays. Like their text overlays are just garbage. And I used them for a long time. And then I discovered this app called Over,
Mm.
and I use that to make all of my like I use it to do all my thumbnails, as well as like kind of like PNG text overlays. So things that you see on my like the in-text stuff is all stuff I do post edit. So
Wow,
yeah,
that's
Wow,
awesome.
that's awesome. I mean, yeah. I mean, if it works for you, then do it. Like, you don't always have to have the best stuff. I mean, I've
Yeah.
learned that in the past. And obviously it's working for you.
And my philosophy, and like this is something I've told people like privately and whatever. And I'm like I'm really big on if you can make something look really amazing with like the cheap stuff, like imagine what you could do with really good stuff. So like,
Yeah.
I wanted to become like a master at like using the stuff that pretty much anybody has access to. If you have a phone and like basic editing software, I mean, it doesn't have to look like garbage. Like you can make it look good.
Mm.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, I spent $60 and got 2 box like these like soft lights.
Oh, yeah.
I bought, I got a $20 IKEA table, big white table that I use, and that's about it. So
Wow.
Wow,
That's like,
that's awesome.
there's a lot of cubers like Cubehead and Tingman and JR that have very high quality, but your videos are still like very, very like watchable. Like, that's the thing. You don't really need that. Obviously they like quality, but
yeah,
you can still make good entertainment videos with low
Well,
budget.
yeah, but they also are really big at showing their face. Like I
Mm.
don't personally like watching myself on video.
Yeah.
So talking to a camera, like it just feels so awkward to me. So I'd rather be behind the camera. So because I'm not really using a lot of things that require depth and audio, I can do a lot more with just facing a camera down at the table. So,
Yeah.
and that also
Yeah.
allows me to do more editing transitional tricks. Like because of the frame rate, you can make things look really cool, but I can't do that with the camera facing me. I can't just like make it, there's things you can't hide.
Yeah, exactly. But that's a good thing for your like audience, showing that any kid can make videos on their phone if they wanted to, and
Yeah.
still have a good channel and grow it.
Yep. It just they have to just put effort into it. Have an idea in their head. Like every video I do, I have it all mapped out of kind of what I want to do. And it all starts with the music. So when I hear a song that really just inspires me, that's what I build my video around. So I don't just go into a video without music in mind, because I want to know what kind of transitions I want to do.
Yeah, right. That's awesome. So just one last question. When you film your videos, do you speak while you're doing the stuff with the cubes, or will you just film your video and then record your audio separately afterwards?
Yeah, so this is kind of a mix of both. So I primarily like to do a lot of audio overlay.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll unbox things and I'll visually kind of like look at it, and I'll talk, to a point, like through a microphone. But if it doesn't come out like the way I want to, because I do a lot of cutting, what I'll typically do is I'll kind of finalize my thoughts, afterwards, and then I'll fill it in with the other audio. So it's kind of like a mix of both. So you get like initial thoughts as well as like some more polished up thoughts per se.
Yeah.
Because again, my content, like I know people like Sean, or Skewb review, like what he'll do is he'll typically unbox it right there like it's live, and he'll talk his way through the whole thing, which works for him. For me, because like I'm all about storytelling, mine comes out a lot more polished because instead of telling a story or showing an unboxing for 15 minutes, I want someone to see something that's going to capture their attention for 3 minutes. So my videos don't last longer than 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Because I
mean,
wanna-
that's actually a benefit now because obviously back in the day, maybe about 2017, YouTube videos were just as long as possible to get as much watch time
Mhm.
and ad revenue. But now people seem to go a lot shorter because the audience retention is what matters.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that's right. And I have really good audience retention overall. So like that's what I really care about is just seeing people last on my videos a lot longer.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like I took a pretty big break for like almost 3 months where I was posting like once every 2 to 3 weeks. And I could definitely tell it impacted my channel. So kind of getting back into things, it's been picking back up. Like
Yeah, that's
I
good.
posted that video today. But yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome. Mitch,
Well,
well, we're going to wrap
I
that up, I think. Mitch, do you want to
Yeah.
do the outro?
Yeah, sure. We haven't got any more questions. So thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. We had a lot of fun. Good luck with your channel and your other stuff in future. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
So,
Appreciate it.
Cube Self Hero, where can people find you?
You just type in Cube, go to, I guess, Instagram, type in Cube Solve Hero, go to YouTube, type in Cube Solve Hero.
Awesome.
If you really want to find me on TikTok, type in Cube Solve Hero. Everything is Cube Solve Hero. So
All right, we'll leave links.
awesome. I appreciate it.
No, thanks so much for coming on. We really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. My pleasure.
All right, that's it.
Thank you so much, Brandon, for coming on the podcast. We really, really enjoyed that. That was such a good interview. You're such a great guy. And we really hope that we could do something like that again.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was a great talk.
Okay, and we will wrap up the podcast there. Yeah, as we said earlier, it was a bit of a shorter one, although probably close to the same sort of length. Anyway, I don't know. Doesn't matter. We hope you guys all had a wonderful new year and that you all have a good first month of 2020. Thank you as always for listening. We really, really appreciate it. We couldn't do without you guys. Buy the Patreon, follow us on Instagram, subscribe to us on YouTube. That's about it. What do you guys say on?
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. 2020 was a good year for us. I think obviously we started off quite new to the podcasting industry of cubing, really. Well, even before this year, there was only like 2 actual cubing podcasts, and now I checked, and after the Parity podcast, there's literally like another 10 now. I've checked. There's so many more podcasts on Spotify as well. So obviously now podcast and cubing is now starting to become a bit more mainstream. We hope to continue growing and hopefully one day be the biggest podcast. Obviously, we're probably the most active podcast right now since most of them aren't posting. We're just looking forward to seeing more podcasts getting out there and hopefully we just keep growing. Guys, I really appreciate it and thank you.
Yeah, very, very well said.
Awesome.
Hey, saves, guys. Thank you so much to Daily Puzzles for sponsoring this podcast. Of course, you guys probably know the drill by now, but of course, Daily Puzzles is the best cubist store out there. They've got great quality cubes, super low prices, and very fast and cheap shipping. And if you guys want a further 10% off your entire order at Daily Puzzles, then of course use code PARITY for 10% off. That's PARITY, just like the show, for 10% off.